December 30th, 2069. Due to the sudden concerns of humanist disturbance at the Circle of Unity event in Cerulean Springs, a ritual to create a zone of peace and relaxation through the use of magic, the municipality, represented by Annabelle McCleary, the current mayor, hires a group of 4 ARC members to provide additional security. To this job offer, a few respond. Panda, a wealthy gatecrasher specialized in bows and corpus magic. Nano, a war droid and hacking expert, currently working for a rich family and wanting to provide entertainment to a young, ill charge through vicarious high-risk assignments. Magpie, a mechanist operating with her drone Hornet and recuperating biological materials as a side gig, and Naughty Mouse, a stealthy, amphibious gatecrasher with little known about his past. The Menagerie is formed. After the briefing with Jen and Bisque, McCleary's assistants, about the nature of her job, the group attends the event, helping with the setup of a ritual as well as security. There were a lot of people. The humanists did bring a contingent protesting the event through the more moderate spokesperson Alton Menagerie, backed from the more fringed and violence-prone Human First, captained by Jonathan Rockster. But before the event begins and the ritual circle is activated, they move away from the area. Shortly after, McCleary asks her assistant to leave and enjoy the first of the year with her loved ones, almost uncharacteristically so. The last minutes of 2069 are pregnant with the anticipation of a ritual taking place, and as 2070 is welcomed, the circles are fired up, and everything goes to shit. A massive, crystalline spirit emerges from the circle, corrupting attendance and turning the 3 Magitechs operating the circle into crystal. Chaos ensues. The MCMP start trying to contain the threat as people are killed by the corrupted. Thanks to the help of a Menagerie, the 3 Magitechs serving as anchors for the spirit are killed, banishing the mysterious creature back to the astral plane. Blair Goodman, the MCMP sergeant, is saved by Naughty-Mouse from one of the attackers, garnering his gratitude. During the aftermath, foul play is immediately suspected. Panda traverses the astral plane, trying to get in contact with the spirits of the deceased, and once done, telling them to stick together, keeping each other safe and sane, instead of giving up to the ether stream. Naughty Mouse and Nano investigate the area, finding a small data chip in one of the fountains, along with the original designs of a ritual circle. A mysterious figure, known to Naughty Mouse as Red October, is seen fleeing the scene. The next day, the Menagerie is confronted with a cat payment justified by the whole disaster that took place, and the request from one of the victims' relatives to make things right. While investigating and following up on leads, Panda grows closer to Jenny and Bisque, and Naughty Mouse uses his connection to the underground mercenaries network of information to approach Red October. Due to a number of unfortunate events, Naughty Mouse ends up trapped in a box as the other amphibian tries to silence loose ends, connecting him to the scene. Receiving an SOS from Naughty Mouse, the rest of the Menagerie springs to the rescue. Receiving some wounds, they manage to force Red October to retreat and bring Naughty Mouse back to safety. Afterwards, Naughty Mouse reveals some parts of his past. Him and Red October, also known as Honey, used to run jobs together, one of which was to sabotage a local daybreak power plant before the gate crash. As the party still needs to make ends meet after a reduction in their pay from their previous job, they take on a new assignment: a simple delivery. They will be gathering a bag of undisclosed materials from an out-of-town R&D facility and bringing it to a collection point in Cerulean Springs. While Panda is busy, the rest of the party rents a car and drives to a pickup point, somewhere outside of Rama. The return trip seems to go well until an ether storm hits the area, damaging the vehicle and forcing the party to stop at the nearby town for some repairs. As they are approaching Rama, the bag starts speaking. Breaching the contract by opening the bag, they discover a number of prototype personality chips used for drones and synths. The chips seems to be using alchemical essence along with normal circuitry. The only seemingly active chip continues to talk and demands quite vehemently a body to serve them. Once in Rama, through a series of weird communication problems, they manage to salvage an old lemur toy synth from an abandoned mechanist shop, which Magpie promises to the local chief to restore and look into the disappearance of the owner. The group finally makes the acquaintance of Dr. Julius Skell, Lemuria, a wizard trapped in a synthetic body. They come to understand that Verstadt Industries, the ones they acquire the bag from, is a Hatsume subsidiary and is currently enslaving the soul of the dead in the astral plane in order to act as more human personalities for their entertainment services. And the fresh group just got caught. Unable to do much about it at the moment, the party delivers the rest of the chips, not wanting to raise suspicion of a breach of contract, while managing to keep Lemuria out of it. Given a new name and identity thanks to Naughty Mouse contact, the Mad Hatter, Dr. Skell joins ARC as the fifth member of the Menagerie. Eager to find out how the new addition works with the rest of the party, and to kickstart Lemuria's new life, the Menagerie accepts another contract, clearing a wilderness area of archaeological interest due to anomalous activities from civilian presence. Once again, the group rents a car to approach the archaeological site, and as they approach, something immediately strikes them as weird. A wide, circular area of molten snow that is clearly warmer than the surrounding environment. Upon further investigation, they find a group of people along with two vehicles. Trying to peacefully convince them to leave seems to get no results, as the group identifies as followers of the Exarch and threatens Nano of scrapping her for parts. A fight breaks out, displaying the utter lack of self-preservation of the cultists. Two of them blowing themselves up to try and dispose of the party, while closing the entrance to the cave system. Failing on both accounts, the successful jobs leaves the party with a truck to take home and claim as their own. While taking these jobs, the party is still trying to figure out the truth behind New Year's events. Lemuria is shown the true circles, and quickly comes to the realization that he was working on something like that before his death 6 months prior, and identifies the changes in the circle as being deliberately made to sabotage the event due to the widely different nature of the two rituals. Magpie, thanks to some witty replies given during the first assignment, works her angle as an infiltrator for the humanists, prodding for info on why the group left suspiciously early. She ends up receiving an invitation to a party from Rockstar himself. Naughty Mouse, in an attempt to understand how Oni is involved, turns back to his criminal family ties, discovering that Honey was working as a middleman between McCleary and Fenton Naylis, her conservative political opponent, who had some information about McCleary's son, who went missing shortly after the gatecrash 5 years prior. Magpie, accompanied by Nano acting as a droid under her control, goes to the appointment set up by Rockstar. After being forced to shut off all recording software, they are driven to Old Town, a lawless, violent slum sprouted as a ring around the main city to house the people dislocated by the much more dangerous wildlife in the surrounding territories after the gatecrash. Once arrived in Old Town, they find themselves in a well-defined area. Rockstar calls Magpie on her bluff, but instead of trying to kill her, he forces her and Nano to slaughter innocent gatecrushers funneled there for their amusement. The hunt is cut short when a rival gang led by a hulking gatecrusher jumps in, prepared for a battle the humanists were not expecting, and forcing their retreat. Rockstar shows Magpie footage of her and Nano killing the innocent, blackmailing her that if she doesn't comply with his whims, he will send it to Ark to compromise her position in the agency. The next day, still recovering from the horrific events, Magpie and Nano, accompanied by Lemuria, head back to Old Town to recover the bodies. While there, Nano finds her corpse being hacked. A young boy, Dennis, introduces himself and promises to sell info in exchange for passage out of Old Town and help settling in the city. The party agrees to the terms, putting him into the custody of Panda, who becomes his foster mother. Dennis informs them about the Raptors, the gang that interrupted Rockstar's party, and how these hunting nights seems to happen once every month with the help of Dean, the leader of another small gang in the area. He expresses concern about the action, which might send that zone of Old Town into a full-blown gang war now that the Raptors interfered with Dean's plans. In the meantime, Magpie takes the collected bodies to an undisclosed location. Some days pass as Nano decides to plant a proxy in Rockstar apartment as a sort of revenge. Helped by Magpie, who lures him out of the house, and Naughty Mouse, who infiltrates the apartment to plant the proxy, they manage to get a number of emails. Some of them seems to confirm Rockstar got a tip to withdraw from the Circle of Unity event from an anonymous source in contact with him. Along with that, Nano decides to make a number of purchases and donations to charity in his name, trying to discredit his credibility as a humanist. In the meantime, Skell starts figuring out his condition. He has a first trip back to the astral plane, finding himself trapped in a cell hive structure with countless other people, sigils and symbols keeping him trapped there. He's also given a body upgrade by the party, financed by Nano, with whom he formed a bond, having to live under her roof for the time being. Starved for answers, but understanding that Rockstar was nothing but another pawn in something bigger, the party arranged with the help of Goodman a meeting with McCleary herself, focusing their suspicions on her with how she made Janine go back home early. Naughty Mouse receives an SOS from Honey as well, apparently held captive by McCleary. They confront the woman, who now, due to the failure of a Circle of Unity event, stepped out of the political scene for a while, in front of a police station. While initially the meeting doesn't seem to go anywhere, thanks to Bisk's intervention, McCleary invites the party at a dinner at her place to discuss a private assignment. At the dinner, the party is immediately met with a strong security force, and Nano even manages to make a connection with one of the IT security specialists, controlling the communications at the house. McCleary confesses to have contacted someone to sabotage the event, due to her being blackmailed with information regarding her missing son. To retrieve him, she accepted to let someone tamper with the ritual, but this was way more than she expected. Her request was just to make it slightly creepy, leave the people unsatisfied, and put her position in ridicule for trying it, undermining her political power, but with no loss of life. The way the event was sabotaged instead, with such a tragic outcome, seemingly cut off contacts with her blackmailer, sending her in a downward spiral. She admits to have Honey in her custody, displaying him, battered and starved in a remote location through cameras. Thanks to Lemuria's quick wit in social situations, the party manages to barter the release of Honey and accept McCleary's request to retrieve her son in exchange of a contact of the person she charged to sabotage the event. And upon being shown a picture of a mutated kid, the party realizes that he's none other than the hulking gatecrasher who was leading the Raptors' charge against humanists in Old Town. Thanks to Dennis' knowledge of Old Town territories, the party organizes a sortie into the slums to make contact with Moeller, the name McCleary's son goes by in the gang. With some bumps along the way, the party reaches the territory. They are welcomed by an incursion from Dean's gang, shooting up the place after failing to recruit one of the Raptors' drug dealers. Panda manages to help healing some of the wounded, and the group is led to the Raptor's second in command, Black Hat, a Famor gatecrusher mechanist. Learning where they're there, Black Hat takes them to a private room in a brothel, and discloses the fact that he knew this day would come. But at the same time, he's not willing to make such a drastic change in power dynamics of a territory with a war on their hands. Not to mention, him not wanting Mauler to go. The kid was groomed as an easily manipulated head figure, and Black Hat is enjoying his position as the counselor in charge too much to drop it so subtly. Naughty Mouse reveals to the party his real origins as Mariah del Rio, a childhood friend of Panda, but especially a very well-connected name of a criminal underground of Cerulean Springs due to his parents, and offers himself as a replacement head figure for the Raptors. Black Hat accepts, but on the condition that they cut the head of the other gang, Dean. After all, the situation is still way too dangerous for this sort of power shift with the rival gang around. Needing a way to get in contact with Dean, and knowing Rockstar has the contact on his very not secure machine, Magpie acts as a decoy along with Nano to pull him away from his apartment, while Naughty Mouse and Lemuria infiltrate, quotations are in order, in Rockstar's abode to place a new proxy. Due to a number of unfortunate events, Lemuria and Naughty Mouse seem on the verge of getting some very much unwanted attention, and Rockstar is about to be called back to his own. But a quick jamming of the communications and a very distracting move from Magpie managed to save the day. Nano is able to gain access to Rockstar emails once more, downloading his correspondence with Dean and gaining the contact. Thanks to some intel gathered along the way, they leverage on Dean's love of tech and implants to set up a honeypot operation. They decide to bring the meeting to the meeting a fake implant, schematics and validity given by McCleary's connection with Martis, and the explosives provided by Maha, Panda's weaponsmith friend. They manage to secure some advantages with some shrewd negotiation from Lemuria. The party takes some time to deal with personal issues, while waiting for the day of a meeting to arrive. Panda goes to visit their ill mother, trying to uncover a secret of her past, but is instead met with her bigoted attitude, with Magpie at their side to support the gatecrusher. Naughty Mouse has to break the news of his decision to his family, being charged with following the operation through. Lemuria, in the meantime, deals with something chasing him from Holetown, and sees a man dying in front of him for it. Along with that, he discovers some more of the astral plane connection he has, and realizes he's running on borrowed time until his personality chip can be refilled with alchemical essence. The day arrives. Contracting some last-minute help from McCleary in the form of two snipers, and managing to get the help of an IT sex specialist to protect them from hacking, the Menagerie walks into the warehouse and settles up before the meeting. Dean arrives with a numerous posse to finish with the negotiations, and is ambushed by the group with a sudden explosion and sniper fire. A fight ensues, but Dean shows himself to be a much harder foe to beat than expected. Lemuria manages to hamper his threatening attack, but falls unconscious in the process, and Hornet is badly damaged, causing a painful backlash to Magpie. But in the end, the party manages to kill the group. Naughty Mouse collects scales from Dean's implant as a memento, and with the head of Dean and the temporary end to the Razorback's threat, they head back to the Raptor's territory. Here, Naughty Mouse takes his decision. He takes residence in Old Town, in the place of Mauler, who receives a hero's farewell from the Raptor's member and the people trying to live under their rule in the territory. After leaving Naughty Mouse as the new leader of the Raptors, with a promise to keep making the territory thrive and its people safe, the rest of the Menagerie head back to McCleary's house, where they reunite mother and son in an emotional moment, and get handsomely paid for the trouble. Along with the payment, they finally receive the name and description of the person who McCleary contacted to sabotage the circle. Ravager, an underground mercenary. But recognizing the name, Naughty Mouse realizes that it couldn't be that person. The mystery is still open for now. But in the meantime, There are more jobs to take. And now, with Nano's announcement to leave for Mars to take care of her charge, there's a team to reveal.